No one knows what that was in his bedroom. And, there's a lawsuit now and the FBI is involved. And they're saying, well, it's okay to have the software on there for the school to look at you, but we want to know why they were activating it. Sure. No, all your computers have it if you bought them in the last 5-6 years. And you're saying, well, how do they have millions of people listening to me? They don't. They have 30-year-old NSA technology known as Echelon software. This is the old stuff we know about. And it keywords. And so computer dials in and records you, and then transcripts are made and put into algorithm databases. But if they actually want to pull the video or audio up, they do. And they use this to frame a lot of people in government and whistleblowers they don't like. Let's say you are playing with yourself in front of the computer. They just videotape you off the camera. And clearly this just happened to one of the former weapons inspectors that's been exposing them. And then they splice that in and claim you were doing it online with a underage girl. This is the type of stuff they can do. They can also record your voice when you're on the phone and then create a code key copy that will fool even the best voice recognition technology. A computer can't even tell the difference. And then they can, and they had this 15 years ago, in seconds, type up what they want you to say and then have you say it perfectly. And we've actually now been finding some of this online with people already doing this to me. So look out, ladies and gentlemen. Look out. Now it's getting cheap to morph video as well. But you bet, if you're sitting there looking at pornography in front of your computer at night, and it's your digital cable box, too. Your digital cable box or TiVo records what you watch, when you watch it, and has built-in onboard audio as well. Many have video now. And, of course, I knew about that 10 years ago and warned you as well. People laughed about it, and then now it's mainstream news. So everything you're doing is being watched. In fact, will you bring my iPhone in, please? Remember it wasn't Christmas Day. It was Thanksgiving Day. Was it 2005? Bush flew over to Baghdad. No, 2007. We weren't in Baghdad yet. No, we were, 2003. It was 2005. Memory, folks. I'm going back here. It was 2005. Bush flew over to present the turkey in Baghdad. And a whole bunch of the press got on at Fort Hood, where they met Bush to fly over on the surprise photo op. And what happened was, at that takeoff, they ordered everyone to take the batteries off of their cell phones and put them in a bag. Well, and it came out in the news, well, that's because by federal law, all cell phones made after 2001 have a chip in them where government or private corporations can dial in live time and listen to the audio. And now most phones have video and track exactly where you're at. I told you about that in 1996. We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have wide open phones in the second hour today. It is Sunday, the 21st day of February 2010. But I want to go over all this news first. Okay, as we went to break, I was explaining that in 1996, when I first got on talk radio, I was exposing that under federal law, all cell phones were designed so the government could dial in and listen to everything you were doing, even when the phone was off. Now, you may have said, well, wait a minute, you said that was 2001. It became law in 2001. In 2006, they passed the Telecommunications Act, and in and amongst the bill, and this was even in mainstream news, it said that the government and simultaneously other governments adopted this as well, as we're under a global system. The corporations, the Fortune 100, set the rules that all cell phones were becoming tracking devices to track you down to a few feet of wherever you were. Even if the phone doesn't have GPS, the cell towers do and triangulate where you are, and where they can dial in and listen to everything you're doing and track you. Now, in 2003, I saw mainstream news articles. The first one I saw was the governor of Wisconsin in an article going, look at our new fusion center the feds paid for. Yeah, with our money. And we can live time type in somebody's name and pull up wherever they are via their cell phone. Total Big Brother. Now, notice almost all the new cell phone brands like iPhone, you can't take the battery out. And without warrants, they just dial in, do whatever they want. And, of course, the government lied about that and said, oh, we only use it once we have warrants. Then it turned out millions of roving wiretaps a month. They just do whatever they want. They don't get a warrant. They do nothing. And the government mainly uses this to track what the public really thinks. And they know you're angry at them. They don't have to read a Rasmussen poll where 75% of Americans are ready for revolution. They already know that because they're listening to you. They're criminal. They're out of control. Think how outrageously corrupt this Philadelphia public school was, that the principal and assistant principals are on record. The parents and kids found out because they would say, I saw your son smoking marijuana. I saw your son doing something he shouldn't have been doing in his bedroom. I saw your daughter. People said, how on earth do you know that? And they said, well, we have software on these computers that the feds paid for that are anti-theft. And if we want to know if a laptop's stolen, we just dial in and turn the video camera on. Wait a minute. But in these cases, in the federal lawsuit, the laptops weren't stolen. See, I remember 10 years ago, and Steve Watson wrote an article for PrisonPlanet.com today, breaking this down, giving you the big picture. That's what we do. We don't just cover one story by itself. Our articles almost entirely are big picture, where we'll go, oh, look at this article, and then look at 20 others. In Tennessee, in California, in Texas, in New York, I mean, just literally hundreds of cases where a visiting basketball team of middle school girls in one Tennessee case show up in the showers after the basketball game and see cameras in the showers and run out, freaking out, panicking. Parents are cussing and yelling in the parking lot. And the school said, well, of course, there could be theft. There could be fights in the showers. Yes, we record all the naked girls in the showers. They had sold it in some type of brainwashing operation in that particular school district. But then when other people showed up who hadn't been brainwashed and hadn't been conditioned, they rightfully freaked out. It's the same thing with the naked body scanners, where they admittedly record your naked body and store it in a biometric ID database. This is the government recording your naked body. And as we predicted, now movie stars, TV stars, and others in England have had their TSA print off their naked body scan and say, please sign this for us. See, government's setting the precedent that they're God, that they can do whatever they want. And all these records of the cable companies and others of what you watch and what you do, it all goes into your file on your psychological makeup. This has all been admitted. And so it's the same thing here. You've seen the news reports all over the country where in a whole bunch of the cases, a girl, it's always a girl, gives one of her friends a Tylenol or a Luden's cough drop. Well, in one case, it was nothing but sugar and a little bit of menthol, not even an over-the-counter drug. And they arrested her, strip-searched her to see if she had other drugs, quote, drugs, and then say, we're allowed to strip-search. See, they're just setting the precedent and telling you, yes, we're going to record you. We're going to videotape you. We're going to put... I mean, I've literally seen hundreds of articles about cameras in the bathroom stalls in public schools. And then I saw articles in Florida and Michigan, of all places, and I haven't looked in years, this was like 5 years ago, where they were putting cameras in the bathroom stalls at roadside stops. So you need to be aware this is happening and get angry about it and say no. Say no to all of this. But, of course, it's all done for your safety. But think about the psychology of these principals. When they go, what's the big deal? We're just turning the cameras on when your daughter or son are in their bedroom. That's freedom. 20-plus thousand homes in England and growing. It was 2,000 a year ago. Now it's 20,000. People have children, and they say, you had a learning disability or you were arrested once. Your child's in danger. And so now we're going to make you, at birth, when you leave the hospital, for a few months, have multiple cameras in your house that the government monitors to make sure you know how to feed and change and take care of your baby. Guilty until proven innocent. I saw a story 2 years ago. Houston police chief calls for cameras in homes. People won't believe it. Pull it up. Just search engine it. We're also simulcasting at prisonplanet.tv for viewers. And then we archive this for prisonplanet.tv so people can watch the show, not just the radio show, whenever you want, how you want. And so some people will say, well, why do you have a free iPhone app that's in the top 10 apps for news apps now at the iPhone store? It's a free app. Links are up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Well, people are going to have these phones regardless. People are going to be surveilled. I'm going to use the very instrument of surveillance and control. I'm going to use these to break people's conditioning.